Well, hello, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Perfectly Twisted. It's Nicole Eggert
good,
and Dave
good to see
Palais
you.
here. Good to see
Really
you
good to see.
too.
I got to tell you, it is really good to see you. I know you're going to talk about things that are going on in your life, but there's a different glow about you today. You look different today.
I do? Maybe it's my
Honestly,
hair growing in.
you know what? It's not just your hair. I'm telling you, it's the skin color. It's your face.
Well,
You look different. And I know
okay.
you aren't doing treatment as much, and you can get into that in a second. But you do. You look healthier today.
Well, okay. So this is really good. So yesterday would have been Tuesday, and that's when I would have gone for treatment in the past 8 months. So it's going to be really fun to see what it's like. Because I always feel so good right before treatment, and then bang,
Yeah.
So it's gonna be really neat to see how it goes, just feeling better and better and not getting knocked down again. But as far as my skin goes, well, that's gonna bring me right to my product alert
Good.
because my friend Raquel, hello Raquel, shout out to Raquel, had said, have I tried the Trader Joe's lines of beauty products? So I made my way over there and I bought a few things. I am using the Trader Joe's Retinol Night Serum, $9.99. So what retinol does is when at night you put it on and it just soaks into your skin and then you peel. So the peeling is kind of annoying, and it takes a couple days to get through it, but I'm glowing apparently.
You are. You absolutely are.
So yeah, so it helps to like rejuvenate the skin and turn the skin over. So that was a shit ton of water, I'm telling you. So Trader Joe's retinol night
Nice.
serum, 9.99. I mean, you cannot beat that, and it works. Like it works. Now I started putting it on my chest. I'm like, where can I put this stuff? So, highly recommend. Highly recommend it.
Good deal. Good
Yeah,
deal. All right. Fantastic. So as you said, your hair is coming back in. So
it
explain
is. It
to
is.
where you're at on everything as far as health goes, because I think a lot of people saw your Instagram and they want to know what's the update.
So I am finished with chemo for now. For this whole debacle, I finished, and my body had a full response. What's what they call it? A complete response, a full complete response, and so it's strange because I can feel my mass, like, I can feel it, and it's just still there like the day I found it, but I guess it builds, like, scar tissue around itself to protect itself, so that's what's still there, and I have to get that out next, but, the cancer was not detectable in the test that we did, the imaging.
Wow. Wow.
I mean, wow, and
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they were all shocked as shit. Everybody was like, even the nurses, everybody was like, it was miraculous. So I'm gonna say that with the chemo and all the other things I did helped. Those things, the nutrition, the supplements, the from the mushrooms to the apricot seeds to the green drinks to all of it. I really think that they all work together because I shouldn't, not that I shouldn't have, but they were very shocked at the results. Like usually it's not um that dramatic of a difference because I had a big mass.
Yeah.
It measured like 10 mm, whatever, whatever they're measuring that they use. It was 10. And to do surgery and remove it has to be down to something like 3.5 is the biggest. It has to be that small. So they were hoping just to get it to that size to get it out. And it's non-detectable. Non-detectable. So it's a little bit like scary to get too happy. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it.
I know what you mean. No, I know what you mean. You feel like you crossed the finish line, but you're waiting for, is there anything there that could come out and change the results? I think I understand. I think all your feelings are justified. I mean, we're talking life and death, and we're talking how scary everything has been. Your Instagram post, as far as how emotional it was, I think people felt that with you too. Like anyone who followed your story since you announced that you had cancer, to get that clean bill of health kind of in a way is amazing. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. And again, you did so many things. One thing about you is, not only have you shared your story, but we've had so many people that have written in or have told you, on the street this is what you should do, right? And you've been steadfast in saying, this is my journey. This is the way I'm going to attack this. This is the way I'm going to, people recall you had a whole game plan and then you changed it right before you started, and
Yep.
it worked. I mean, everything you chose that you stood by and what you thought was right, you made the right choices for yourself for it to be where you are today.
I feel like I did, and I feel like by making those choices and by doing things outside of the chemo, I feel like it kept me feeling it could help me keep feeling positive, keep my positive energy going because I felt like I was doing something. I didn't feel like so victimized. I felt like, okay, well, I'm being proactive. And I think that that was really important in my treatment journey because, excuse me, I have a little bit of a respiratory thing going on since my last treatment. So I'm hoping that goes away quickly. But my lungs have really taken a beating with the chemo. Um, so I just feel like, yeah, all the stuff I did, I was proactive about it. I felt like it really just gave me a little bit of confidence and a little bit of like ease that, at least you're doing something.
Yeah.
Because you could very well just sit there and be like, "Ah," and go for the ride. But, I do believe in doing things to help it along, so here we
So
are.
I have a couple questions. So when you got your good news, I imagine it was your daughters you shared it with first.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it's so funny because Keegan was like, "Well, I knew it all along."
Good.
It was like, no, it was the news she was expecting. It wasn't like she was shocked at all. So, it was very funny because it made me realize, like, just how confident she's been through this because there was no meltdown, there was no breakdown, there was no, like, huge sigh of relief. Yeah, there was a big hug and all of that, but she really truly was like, "Yeah, figured."
Yeah.
Like,
Good.
yeah. So,
Love it.
it wasn't like she was hiding and putting on a brave face because I was a little worried about that. She wasn't at all. She really truly thought I was gonna come clean through this whole thing. So, um, that's where her mind was at, and, it was kind of a beautiful thing to see. And, of course, my oldest is just, so relieved, like, so relieved. So, yeah, it's great. I mean, surgery is still, oh, such a big deal. I didn't realize I was gonna be so, kind of emotional about the surgery because in the beginning, like, when I got my diagnosis, I was like, "Get rid of them," like,
Yeah.
"Get them off, get the boobs out, get the cancer out, take the boobs off," all of that, but now that, like, I'm here, it's more emotional and I'm oh, it's, yeah, I'm dreading it, and I think that also too, like, the older I get, the less I wanna deal with pain. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
don't
makes sense.
I don't I like, all my tattoos and everything, I would never anymore, like, I don't even want if, like, my shoe kinda hurts, I'm throwing them away. I have no tolerance for any kind of uncomfortableness, so, I'm kinda dreading that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's sort of a dreadful process, but, I'm also at the same time kind of like, look, I'm better at just dealing with it. Like, if we do this, let's just go do the surgery. Talking about it and thinking about it and the anticipation up to it, I think is worse than having to actually do it and go through it.
When would you have to do the surgery, or when what in your
I'm
mind?
waiting. I'm
Okay.
waiting on it's so sad how backed up hospitals are. We're
Yeah.
waiting to get a surgery date. So
Yeah.
they could call anytime, and I'm sure it will still be once I get the date, I'm sure it will still be, like, a few weeks down the road,
Yeah.
I hope, but, because I really want my body to be able to heal a little bit from all that chemo before they go and slice into me because, your immune system is down. You just like, everything takes so long to heal when you've done
Yeah.
chemo, so
Of course. Of
yeah.
course. So my
Yeah.
next question was, what was it like the next morning when you woke up knowing what happened the day before? I mean, was there just a huge sense of relief, like this is just a brand new day?
No, you would
No.
think. You would think,
Yeah.
but I was more, like, in shock. It was more like I was shocked, I always just get this is a bad habit of mine. I get afraid to get too excited about things. I think my mom kind of, like instilled that in me,
Yeah.
like, when things are going great, something bad's around the corner, or like if it sounds too good to be true, it is, so it's just one of those things that I just am like apprehensive about being excited and happy about things.
It's interesting. I'm
Yeah,
surprised to hear you say that. I
I
kind of
know.
look at the world more like your daughter Keegan does. Like I just always like something good's gonna happen. I don't know, and maybe it's to my downfall, but I know it's funny when you talk about parents. For me, my dad and I saw the world opposite. My dad was more like what you just said. Something bad's gonna happen. If something good happens, then I was surprised. Whereas I look at it just the other way. If I expect something good to happen, something bad happens, then I'm surprised. But it's funny, I have certain things stick in your head. Like I can remember two things growing up, and I'm sure you can too, of my mom's voice. One is nobody told you life is fair, and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like those two things are never going to get out of my head of my mother's voice from the time I seemed like I was 2 years old. But
Yeah.
it's so funny. I hear certain things over and over, but I love the way your youngest daughter looks at it. Of course you're fine. There's
Me
only one
too.
option.
Me too, and I've, like, started to think that way, and I've worked on myself really hard. So, I think that growing up and having that in my mind, it generates bad energy. So for me, it's like I wanna think positive, but only negative shit ever happens. So so I'm like, but I know that that's not true now. So I am in a headspace of, um knowing that I deserve positive things to happen. So
Yes.
it's a funny time in my life. I'm there, but then I got hit with cancer. Did all this work. I was in this place, and then, I got hit with that diagnosis, but it came out okay. And, I'm finding like the life lessons in this whole journey. So I do believe in, like, I am in a place now where I tune my mom out, but for so long I didn't. For so long that was my mindset. Like that was the way I always thought, like, oh, that sounds great, but that's never gonna happen. Or, oh, it's just so negative. So I try not to do that to my kids. So, I am more of a positive mindset, but, I just can't help but sometimes revert back to my mom, and it's just, yeah, it takes work. It takes a conscious effort to say, "No, stop it. You deserve it. You do deserve good things." Like, let's
On a
go.
personal note, have you guys, meaning you three, meaning you and your two daughters, have you thought into the future about, hey, after the surgeries and after everything, that there's a celebration time of what you're going to do? Or is
Well,
that
I
something you
told you
haven't come to?
we're gonna go to Thailand.
Oh, you decided that all three of you are going to Thailand. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Fantastic.
and hopefully my friend John too. Hopefully he's gonna come too. So, yeah, we're gonna go on an adventure.
Good. I love
Yeah,
it. I'm glad. Good. It's like as we say, right? You get a good report card, either go out to a nice dinner or you go get ice cream, something to celebrate what happened. The fact that you're celebrating, I always say celebrate everything. This is something big. You need to celebrate. I'm glad you're doing it. You've spoken
yeah.
about Thailand on this show for since we
Forever.
started. So I
It's
love
something
it.
I've wanted to do my whole life, and looking into it, it's so affordable. It's
Yeah.
so affordable, it's so inexpensive when you get there, and, the flights there aren't even that expensive. So, I'm gonna save up. I'm gonna put little monies away and save up to get that done. So, that'll be so fun. I've
Good deal.
dreamt about that for so long, so,
Oh, that's awesome. No, no,
yeah.
really, really excited about it. That's cool. That's neat. This is a busy month for you. I mean, this is one of those months that you're never going to forget. Not only your health, but also the release of your TV show. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
big month.
Yeah, it's exciting. August 28th, after Baywatch on Hulu, you can catch it. I'm not sure if they're gonna release, it's a docuseries, so I'm not sure if they're gonna release all of them at one time yet, or if they're gonna do once weekly. Um, I'm not sure where they're at with that right now, but, yes, the advertisements should roll out this week. Commercials should start playing, and billboards should go up, and all of that fun stuff.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
exciting. That is really something that most people don't get a chance to experience. It's really neat. I mean, a
it
lot of
really
work has gone into this. Yeah,
I'm so
a lot of
very
work.
excited to watch it all put
Very,
together and done.
very
It's
neat.
gonna be exciting.
It's also pretty cool to see the people that you did this with that came on it as guests and were part of it are very excited too, as I, start following them on social media to see how excited they are that this is happening. I mean, you brought a lot of joy, I think, into people's lives by putting this together.
Well, I think a lot of people, they did it, and then they kind of weren't sure if it was a real thing because it took us so long to get it all put together. So it kind of was like it went away and it came back, and then people wanted to do more and do another interview. And yeah, I think people are really excited about it. So
Good deal.
I'm
Good
happy
deal.
about that. Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask you about TV that shows that you and I watch. I have to ask you about New Jersey.
Oh my God. Did you watch that last episode?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh my
I
God.
watched it, and it was worth the last 10 minutes of the whole season just to watch. It was such a train wreck all the way around. Number one,
Like,
everything was a terrible idea to
terrible
put these
idea.
girls together. Two is it was like I think they literally might have just ended the entire show because it was such a bad idea. And then I don't know why I laugh. I mean, this is maybe I'm just stupid. Like the C word is the word you just never use. Like even guys, the dumbest guys I know, you don't use the C word. But to hear those girls going back and forth, you just call me a stupid C, and I'm going, what the hell am I watching? Like it kept being
I,
repeated over and over, and I'm sitting on the couch, Nicole, like an idiot, just laughing. Like
I
I'm watching the biggest train wreck. I was laughing.
Dolores losing her shit on Margaret in Margaret's
Yeah,
house
yeah.
was like there was something so much more and deeper about that because there's no way. Yeah, she's you lying. See you next Tuesday. She was fuming like her veins were coming out of her
Yes.
head. Um, there was something so much more to that. And then, yes, this whole last dinner thing was such a bad idea. And listen, they're not girls, they're women.
Yes.
They're full grown women. And that Danielle is feisty. I mean, just feisty. And they hit her below the belt and she threw something again.
Oh,
She threw something in
lost her
the
mind.
glass again.
Lost her mind. Going across
Lost
the
her
table.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I thought it was funny when, Teresa said, like, "Calm down," or something, and, or "Don't act like that," and, what's her name, the one that we like so much, that's married to Joe, her sister-in-law?
Melissa.
Melissa,
Melissa.
jeez. Melissa was like, "Oh, you can talk, you're the queen of that,"
Yeah.
and I just was like, that was such a good dig.
It was something else. Melissa has played this so well, where you can say anything to Melissa, and she'll basically on the outside at least let things kind of roll off. She doesn't lose her mind. Inside, I'm sure, like everyone else, you're freaking out. But when Dolores set this thing up, and I kept thinking about this over the last few days, going, what did she think was possibly going to happen? I mean, did she think that everyone's going to hug it out? That's not the way it's going to go. Like, I think Dolores really kind of maybe ended the Housewives of New Jersey forever, at least with this cast, because it was such a bad idea.
Such a bad idea, and, Jen Fessler was out of there. She was like, "I'm not doing
Yeah,
this." And she was
yeah.
part of the one that set it up. Like, she
That
was it was
planned it.
half her. She said, "I'm out of
I'm
here."
gonna have a party, everybody, but I'm leaving. That was bizarre.
That was
But
bizarre. She was like, "I'm out of here." And yes, I think it felt like the end because then they started when they edited they started showing flashbacks of, like, all through the
yeah,
years. And they turned it into, like, it was, like, Dolores, like, contemplating or, like, looking
yeah,
back or thinking back, but I was like, "Ooh, this feels like the end of a show."
it did.
And I
It
think
did.
I mean, it sounds like, it is the end of the show too with the didn't they announce that they were gonna recast or I don't know. I know it's the word is going around. The word on the street is that, they are gonna recast it. So, interesting. And I was so happy that Margaret was vindicated, and it was
Yeah,
that Jackie the whole time.
yeah,
What
yeah.
a sneaky lady. Oh my god, and just sat there and let them blame Margaret and never said a word. I mean,
Never
and
said a
then
word.
still denied it, still sat there and lied
Yeah.
at that table. Nobody freaked out on her about lying.
No, they forgave her right away.
Well,
She
I
just
think
said
that
that was bizarre.
yeah, I don't think that they forgave her. I think that they felt stupid.
I hope
I
so. I
Yeah.
hope they did. And I tell you what, Jackie, I'll give her credit on this thing. Is she took what was said didn't forget about it when they said her husband was, two-timing her and tried to spread all these rumors. She put it away in the bank and she said, "When my time is my time." And it was like old Godfather stuff, like right out of the movie. If I'm not going to forget, and when it's my time, I'm going to strike. And basically, we kept saying, "How is she all of a sudden friends with Teresa?" And basically, getting close to her to attack is what it was. It was a whole chess move.
Yeah.
And then with the way whole thing came out, and by the way, I kind of respected her move of not forgetting, of, hey, I'll never forget, you attacked my husband and you attacked my family, and we've tried to do things right. We aren't as crazy as you, and I'm going to get close to you and show you I'm your friend, but I'm not your friend.
I
it
know. It was
was
wild.
it was really wild. There's so many different aspects of looking at it, and the personalities. I'd be disappointed if it was over, but I don't know how you bring it back, because they're two completely different teams. The show is completely split down the middle. Even the
Yeah.
husbands are split down the middle.
Yeah, even the husbands. And, yeah, they're just so split. It's I don't know how you bring it back. And then Louis saying like, "Oh, I really wish bad things on Margaret and her son."
Yeah, that was
Like,
bad.
he's so gross. He's so
Yeah,
disgusting.
that
I
was
don't
bad.
want him on TV. Like, I don't even he did
No,
I don't ugh, I don't wanna see that guy. And what a horrible and he was wrong. It wasn't even Margaret this whole time, and he's wishing bad things on
yeah,
her
her kid.
stepson and herself. Like, he's disgusting. I don't know.
Yeah,
And I just think Teresa has got herself into a whole new world of shit.
yeah, I do too. Well, the show is turned into so much of what their identity is just in life. I mean, that you see them. I mean, they're doing commercials for just
Yeah.
regular products. I mean, even
Melissa
Joe's doing spaghetti sauce commercials.
Melissa and Joe, but I don't see
Yeah.
Teresa doing commercials, but
It's one of those where you go, okay, if the show disappears, eventually, what does that mean? It's, yeah, sure, there's a little bit of a financial part, but I think for a lot of them, it's different. I mean, their lives have changed. Think where they were 20 years ago to where they are now. I mean, they go to the store, they go anywhere, they're giant celebrities, especially in New Jersey. And
yeah.
then all of a sudden it disappears because you couldn't behave, because you couldn't play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. I know. And I feel like Teresa, although yes, she has all this fame, but she's in the same exact place she was 20 years ago because she's
yeah,
back in a bad
exactly.
toxic
That,
marriage. Yeah.
yep. And then you wonder,
Oh,
how strong is that marriage if that show disappears, right? Is that marriage
'cause
legit, or
right.
was
'Cause
he
does he
with you the whole time
disappear?
because of who you are? Yeah.
Yeah, because he's very questionable. His motives are super questionable.
One of the strangest looking guys I've ever seen. And I'm not just talking looks, I'm talking about where you get a bad vibe from him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different people you see in life where you just go, I can't read that person, or I don't know. Well, give him an opportunity. Everything about him shows bad.
He's
From
got
the
you know
cut.
what? He's got that, like, greasy Jax glow. He's like
Yeah.
Jax, where it's, like, always angry, always
Always angry.
red and shiny in the face.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
He's like Jax 2.0. It's this,
He's a
ugh,
scary dude. Yeah,
he's a scary dude.
like you wouldn't feel. I don't know. He's a guy you 100% wouldn't feel safe with. I'm not saying Teresa made a mistake, obviously, in a relationship with him, but that's exactly what Teresa would do. Like, she's the only one I know that would pick a guy like that seems unstable. That
Yeah,
unstable. Like, it's written on the wall. That guy's unstable.
yeah,
And
and not
very,
only does he look and give vibes of being unstable, there's exes saying he's unstable.
yeah,
There are women coming forward saying this guy is nuts.
yeah.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. That was I didn't see the show ending that way. I mean, I knew there wasn't supposed to be a reunion. If I'm Andy, I'm kind of curious to know what Andy Cohen thinks about, these are his shows, and this has been, a big popular money-making show for Bravo, to go, all right, it's time to move on. Maybe Andy's just exhausted by it too. Maybe he's
I
like, you
think
know
I
what?
he
We'll get
must
the
be
next one.
for there not to be a reunion, he must be
Yeah,
washing his hands of it because, and also it's becoming dangerous with a lot of the glass throwing.
exactly.
Um, I yeah, I don't know. I think there's still gonna be I still think there's gonna be a New Jersey show. I just think that it's gonna get a revamp.
Okay, so let me ask you, as someone now that has put TV shows together, if you revamp that show and you're recasting, would you recast with those same kind of personalities, or would you recast a different way? Because right now the personalities on that show are completely what the stereotype is of New Jersey Italian people, right? It's
Yeah.
not. it's not the most Italians that we know, but it is completely right out of Saturday Night Fever kind of, Italian stereotypes.
Well, I mean, I feel like they should do, like they did with New York and just start from scratch.
Yeah.
Listen, in New Jersey, there's no shortage of Jersey personalities.
True.
There's no
True.
shortage. There's big personalities out there. There's, everybody out there has a big personality, it feels like. Um, so I think that might be smart to just redo it. I don't know.
I kind of would like that, just to let them know this is what you guys messed up. Yeah, we moved on without you. We got a whole new cast, and you guys couldn't behave. So guess what? There's someone else that's now walking in your shoes.
And the
Kind
thing
of,
is,
kind
it's
of
like
enjoy it.
there's a fine line of like, what do you mean behave? Because that's what these shows are built on, is the drama, right? But it just gets to a place where it's gross. Like
It
it's
was,
too below the belt. It's just too much. It's dragging kids into it, dragging husbands into it. It's just, I don't know. It's too much.
yeah. I'm curious to know if that show fell apart, how many marriages fall apart. Meaning, like Aiden, like Bill Aiden, is he just go, all right, now that the camera's not on me, and my wife, who's vindictive as hell, I'm finally getting out the door. I don't have to live in the pool house anymore. I'm going to make a run for it. It's just worth it to get out of this, because he looks miserable every day too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He does, but then it seems like there's part of him that likes the gossip, but he's when the guys went over to Louie's house, can we talk about Louie's house and that weird man cave podcast room and those
Yes.
testimonials they made for the wives? I mean, oh my God, I was like throwing up in my mouth. It was so cringy. I was so embarrassed for them. Um, but then Bill Aiden made it funny. So like, but yeah, he's still hanging out with Louie. Like, oh,
Yeah.
wrong crew, wrong crew.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, weird, very
Oh
weird.
my gosh. That got very, very strange. All right. So going over to Orange County. Where are you at on Orange County?
Well, I watched the latest one. I feel like Emily's really turning into a mean girl.
I
Just,
agree. Yeah, why?
really mean. Like just digging at Jen about being broke nonstop. Like worry about yourself.
What is the
But
angle? Let me ask you, what is the angle on that? Why is she trying to make herself relevant? Because I don't know anyone who looks at that and goes, that's appealing, or man, I'm an Emily fan. It is vicious. You watch someone that is going through a bad time and just not letting her
picking
up
on
for
her.
air.
Yeah. And they also, I feel like her and Tamara so want to bring Heather down. It's like they're so
Yeah.
jealous of something of Heather. I don't know if it's the money or like what, but they want to bring Heather down so bad. And it's like maybe they see something that we're not seeing that they want to expose. Okay, I can understand that, but you're making yourself look like a real dick
Yeah.
in the process. Wait till you have something solid. But this like constantly reaching and trying to drag people, it's so icky. And Tamara is just not nice. Like she quit the show. She quit the Trace Amigas stand-up show with Shannon and Vicky.
Yeah.
And that leaves them out in the cold. It's just I don't know. Not nice.
I'm with you. With Heather, it's complete jealousy. I think of everything that Heather
Well,
has.
that's the way it's coming across. If it's not, well,
Yeah.
this is the way they're making it seem. And what do you think about Katie, the new girl? I mean, she's going up against Heather too. And it's like, and the whole paparazzi thing. Did Heather call the paparazzi at Disneyland? Like, why are you bringing that up? Like, okay, mention it and say like, oh, she totally set that up. That was a setup. Lots of people do set up photo shoots. Lots of
Yeah.
people do this. So why are you calling her out and like, because you don't do it? Because are you jealous that they care where she is? Like, I don't know.
The way I look at it is she's trying to be relevant. She's trying to get her step on the show and why she needs to be on the show, doing it. My thing is, for our experience of watching this, you go up against Heather, you're going to lose every time. Everyone's going to lose against Heather. I hate to say it, she knows how to play the game. Her husband has a TV show. She has a TV show. She's been around for a long time. He's been around for a long time. They've never been more popular. You'd be better off becoming friends with her and aligning yourself with her than attacking her. At the same time, if it's Heather and she did call the paparazzi and say, I'm going to be at Disneyland, good for them. You know what? Guess what? It's good for business. It's good for her, and it's especially good for her husband's business, who is killing it. So why would you even try
Yeah.
and fight that battle? It's the most ridiculous thing. Why would you try and embarrass her on TV? You're going to lose. You're going to come off bad. And to me, the best way to be relevant on that show is to become Heather's bestie.
I mean, and Heather doesn't need the show, that's
She
the other
doesn't.
thing. She doesn't need this.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, look, it looked like an obvious setup, paparazzi setup shoot. Sure, it did, but so many people do them. And like you
Yeah.
said, it's for the business. It's like to show that he was still healthy and their marriage was strong, whatever they were trying to prove. They got that across. And I just don't the other women come across just super envious. And if it's because Heather actually is terrible in person, which we don't know because we only see what they show us, they're going about exposing her the wrong way. They're
Yeah.
just making themselves look shitty.
Yeah. I still say, from what I said to you a couple months ago, I think Heather's goal is to change shows, to end up on Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's on the wrong show. She doesn't fit this group. She should be on Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Well,
She's outclassed this group, and not putting down the people of Orange County, but she's just in a different money platform and a different order of fame.
well, it's funny because she was on Watch What Happens Live, and Andy said, I think the question was, "Are you trying to get on Real
Oh,
Housewives of Beverly
oh, I
Hills?"
missed it.
And
Oh, I missed it.
she said to him, "Well, only you can answer that." Or because I think somebody said to her, "Would you be on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?" And she said to him, "Only you can answer that." So,
I'm not
you
crazy.
know,
Good.
I mean,
Maybe I didn't see it wrong.
yeah, and they're
Good.
doing a lot of crossovers, so why not?
Yeah,
Why not?
seriously. Let's
Yeah,
see how she fits in with the other people. She lives in the damn neighborhood at least,
yeah, she sure does.
it's interesting to watch. Going back to Emily real quick is, there's always that person on the show you find yourself rooting for something bad to happen during the season.
She,
Emily is mine. I mean,
yeah,
it's just I can't believe what I'm watching. Like,
that's
what's
so
wrong
mean.
with you? It was a
Yeah,
couple years ago where your marriage was falling apart and your husband couldn't pass the bar and he wasn't paying attention to you and you had weight problems. There's so many things that you were stressing out with right in front of our face, but this girl's going through financial difficulties and you are not letting up for air any second. So Emily's the person on the show right now. She's my number one person that I can't stand.
I know. She's really, really mean girl. And to go back to when we talked about this before, it's good to see that Jen's boyfriend is not involved in the whole gambling thing with the Dodger player.
I said I didn't
He
even know.
he's not. He's friends with the bookie. So
Oh,
the
okay.
bookie is already been he's already in trouble,
Prosecuted.
and yeah,
Yeah.
they already have him. He's just friends with that guy. So it was good to know that he was not part of that ring, because that would be really sad if he was in
Yeah.
trouble and then she was having these financial issues because he took her in.
Yeah.
He took her and her kids in. He's turning out to be kind of a good guy.
So
So,
far. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm happy for her for that, and I don't know if they're jealous of that. I don't know why they keep digging at her. It's not like she got herself in some kind of whirlwind of debt. She's going through a divorce,
Yeah.
and the husband was paying her rent or her mortgage, and he was providing, and then he just stopped.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I get it. Yeah, you don't rent a place then if you can't afford it, but she just wasn't expecting that, and they're just so mean to her about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to your mailbag. We got some questions. I'm interested to
Okay.
hear you're going to answer some of these questions that came in today. Again, if you have a question for Nicole, you want to get it on the show, it's easy. You go to perfectlytwistedpod.com and you'll see the mailbag at the top of the screen. And then go ahead and ask Nicole's questions and we'll get them in. We have two different people wrote in today to equal 5 questions. First one's from Kayla Perez. And Kayla asks, Nicole, are you in contact with Yasmin Bleeth?
I am not. We were in touch with her and mostly her husband during the making of the whole documentary. Um, she just really doesn't want anything to do with like the industry or anything, doesn't want to be on camera, doesn't want to do anything. So, um, I didn't ever really know her very well. I met
Okay.
her, on Baywatch Hawaii, a Hawaiian wedding that we did, and we worked briefly together there, but, so I never really got to know her very well, so,
Okay.
no, I'm not in contact with her.
There you go. Kayla also asked, sounds like Kayla's an actress. Nicole, have you ever had stage fright?
Um, yes. I mean, to what extent? I mean, I get
Yeah,
really
explain.
nervous.
I'm curious now. What does that mean exactly?
Well, yeah, like what is stage fright? Some people freeze, some people, pee their pants, some people throw up, some people go to the bathroom. I don't know. But, as far as just like getting very nervous, yes. Like I presented at the ESPY Awards one time and I was presenting Evander Holyfield his award and my knees were a little shaky. I was a little shaky
Really?
up there. Yes,
Was it
sir.
was it because the theater was so big or you weren't
Yeah.
comfortable with sports or what
All of it.
was
Well, not because I
really?
wasn't comfortable with sports. I didn't I was pretty young, I didn't care, but, yes, being in front of that big of an audience, and then, I loved Evander Holyfield, so,
Yeah.
it was all of it. It was like, "Oh my god, and I can't mess this up, and he's gonna come up here," and yeah, it just was, so speaking in front of, like, large crowds can really get me, like, kinda choked up and shaky. But normally no. I mean, I've done plays. I did a play at the Mark Taper Forum here at the Music Center in Los Angeles, and I loved it. I love the energy of but when you're being yourself, it's different than when you're acting. So
Yeah.
there's a difference because I get to go out there. I know what I'm gonna say. It's all written for me.
Yeah.
I'm not being myself. I'm being a character. It's different than walking out there as yourself, and you could flub up at any moment. So yeah.
You know, it's funny. I have a Evander Holyfield story for you real quick. So in 1990, I'm in Atlanta and it's like 12 o'clock at night and I can't find my hotel. I know what hotel I'm in, but I can't get back there. This is before you could get it on your phone, right? So it's all foggy. And if you ever been to Atlanta, every street in downtown Atlanta, I swear is Peach something or Martin
Peachtree.
Luther King something.
Yeah, it's
So,
Peachtree.
and it's so hard to figure out where I'm going. So finally, I'm like, I don't know where my hotel is. So I see the Omni Hotel, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna run in there real quick and ask someone to help me find my hotel. So I run into the hotel, and there's one person in the lobby, and it's Evander Holyfield, the most famous guy in the world. Who was the heavyweight champion, most famous guy in Atlanta. He helped me get back to my hotel.
Oh,
I was
really?
like, yeah, it was the craziest thing. Like, I don't know where I'm at in the city, and the most famous person in the city helped me find where I needed to go. It was
I
kind
love
of,
that.
it was crazy. It was very nice. It was
He's a
very
nice
nice.
guy, a super nice
He was.
gentleman, yeah.
He
Mhm.
was,
I
but
love that. You're like,
yeah, it was
"Can you
so
give me
weird.
directions?"
Yeah, it was so weird. Kayla also asked Nicole, "How do you stay confident when you have forgotten a line or stage direction? How did you recover?"
Um, when I was younger, my memory was really good. And I didn't, it wasn't I didn't forget so much. I think now I forget more. Um, but it's okay. People forget their stuff and there is a script supervisor on the side that you just go line and
Yeah,
they shoot you your line and luckily if it's something you can edit around you can just keep going. um of course when you do something live that's different, but I don't know, I haven't really had that happen where it's been in a live situation. So really they just edit around it, they stop. They give you what the line is or the dialogue is, and then you just keep going. I mean, the less of a deal you make of it, the easier it just kind of
yeah,
slides by. Or if you know the gist of what you're supposed to be saying, you can go with that too. You can like if you know where this conversation's supposed to go, you just make something up and you just keep going.
do you memorize the other actors' lines, or did you like wait for the last word of before you were supposed to start? Like, how does it work? I've never done it, so I was kind of curious on when you're supposed to be in the middle of a conversation and you're acting.
Well, I mean, I think everybody has their own method, and their own thing. For me, I just yeah, I'm listening to them. I'm listening to what they're saying because if I'm not listening to them, then I probably will forget what my next line is.
Yeah,
But if you're listening and you're in the moment, you know where the conversation's going, and it's easier to remember. What's hard is when you have to, like, do word for word verbatim, like for network shows or TV shows, when it's like when the writer has written it, you have to say it the way it's written, and that can be hard.
yeah,
Um, that can be really challenging. But for the most part, like if you're doing a film or you're something, you just you go with it. You listen to what they're saying, you know what the answer is going to be, you know what the conversation is, and it makes it much easier.
Okay. There you go. All right, last question from Kayla. Nicole, have you ever been frustrated with yourself while acting?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I tried to do a on tape audition while I was in treatment.
Okay.
And I gotta tell you, it was one of those things that it was for a network and it needed to be word for word, and I felt like the wording was, like, a little awkward in all of it, and I kept wanting to switch it, and it was, like, something that should have taken me 20 minutes, took me, like, a good hour or something of keep redoing it because I kept messing up or saying it differently, and, that was really frustrating, and listen, the chemo brain is very real, it's a very real thing. So, I have to, like, have grace with myself with that, but also age is a real thing. So I got both going against me right now. So, you kinda the more frustrated you get, I think the worse it gets, so you have to just kind of, like, just laugh and, do it again, but yeah, I it was really frustrating to put myself on tape and could not get the word for word, and, yeah, I struggled and I was upset with myself, but I talked
Uh,
myself out of it.
one question, and this one, Kendra Tacone writes, Nicole, what was it like to act with Corey Feldman, especially while you were dating Corey Haim?
Has anybody seen the video of him going around lately? This latest
No,
video of him
no,
performing?
I haven't.
He's a strange cat. I mean, listen, he's a strange guy. He's wild, he's eccentric, he's different. I've always gotten along with him fine, and I'm a little bit entertained by him. So, I had a good experience with him, but I mean, he's definitely, he's like half a bubble off, you know? Like, he might be a full bubble off. Um, but, I love it. Part of me, it's like, I find it amusing, but I really kind of admire somebody who, like, owns who they are and, like, he goes with it. Like, he
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 does.
is fully himself. He is dancing on that stage and, either you're a fan or you're not, and that's but he's unapologetically himself, and I admire that.
You know what? I think that's probably the best way to describe it from someone that looks from afar, like me. I mean, I've never met Corey Feldman, but at the same time, I remember one of my best friends growing up, huge Corey Feldman fan. And then I used to always look at my buddy, like be in the room, and I would say, dude, that's a lot. Like that's a lot of energy. That's a for and just speaking for myself, not taking a shot at Corey Feldman, but I'm like, that's a lot of energy that almost it was to me, it seemed like it's exhausting to try and keep up with his energy. If that makes any sense at all. Just my energy
Sure,
wouldn't match his. I don't think a friendship would last long or hanging out would last long because I just couldn't keep up. My body doesn't react that way. My brain doesn't work that way where it's just a lot. It's
it's
a
a lot.
lot. That's the
But
way it
he's a
looks to me.
very talented actor. He's
I
a
agree.
great actor. And so, yeah. Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I admire about it, and, like I said, either you're a fan or you're not, and I
Yeah.
don't think he cares.
No, no,
Yeah.
which is probably the best way to go about it. The thing is, I
Yeah, I
think
agree.
if I called my high school friend, he would say still a huge fan. Like he used to watch Corey Feldman. It seemed like it all the time. Every time you go to his house, there's a Corey Feldman something, whether it was Stand by Me or Goonies or whatever. It was always Corey Feldman. License to Drive. He was always on TV in his
Well, there's
house.
Corey Feldman, the actor, and then there's Corey Feldman, the musician.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're
seen
2
that
very
too.
different people.
I've seen that. I've seen that too. Yes.
They're 2
Uh,
very
uh,
different personas. And then there's Corey Feldman, he had like an Angels, um, like Corey's Angels kind of thing, where he had, it's very Charlie Sheen of him. He had all these like women living with him. Um, yeah, he's a wild guy.
yes. So, Kayla and Kendra, really appreciate the questions today. Again, those are the 5 questions on the mailbag. Again, perfectlytwistedpod.com. Just go to the mailbag and insert your questions. We'll get them on the show. But overall, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
And don't forget to hit the like button. Hit that like button while you're here.
Absolutely.
See you next time.